Hi. Hi. Oh. Yeah. We're gonna wait for a couple more people, then we'll get started with the book. Hi. Hi. Oh, damn, a lot of you just joined in. Okay. I'm gonna respond to some of you guys first. How am I? Pretty good. A little bit tired, though. I was up late talking to my partner. Well, I'm sorry you have a stomach ache. Maybe you got the flu or something. I don't know. Hopefully it's not COVID. That shit sucks. Also, sorry for the background noise. They decided to mow, so. Hi. Let's get started, I guess. To find where I was. Oh. X-Men or Avengers? X-Men. Hang on. Oh, fuck. Sorry about that. You think it's food poisoning? At least, no. I lost my train of thought, god damn it. Fear had fueled her feet, for she didn't know the nooks and crannies of King's Crossing well enough to be confident of escape. She followed, again, I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm just gonna say Ricker, because I have no idea how to pronounce it. Oh. Hi. She followed Ricker until he dashed through an archway, rounded a corner, and simply disappeared. Tiki had slowed in surprise. The bobby had just latched on to the back of her loose jacket. When she spotted Ricker motioning for her from a narrow corridor. With a jerk, she'd slipped her arms from the sleeves, revealing long braided hair and a shape that couldn't belong to a boy, and raced into the shadows of the brick hallway. He'd never she'd never forgot the look on Ricker's face that day. What are you doing up north here in Camden Town? Ricker's voice brought her back to the present. Bit far from Charing Cross, aren't you? Maybe. Tiki kept her tone even. But the biggest pub in all of London is worth the trip. Ricker pulled one of the chairs away from the table, the wooden leg scraping across the floor. Are you here alone? Tiki put out a hand to block him. Don't sit down. You're not staying. And it's none of your business who I'm with or where I go. Irritated, she turned back toward the crowd. Where was her mask? Mark. Where was her mark? I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired, so I might be a little off. He really works with stomach aches. A smoky cloud hung in the room above the motley crew of sailors, chandeliers, coal porters, and dustmen who filled the pub. She recognized Bibley the rat catcher and Mr. Bonfield. The costermonger, I think, found up around Convenient Garden Market. But where was Mac Georger? These are strange names. For weeks she'd been watching the big Rudy Scotsman, following him in the evenings from pub to pub. Ow. I bit my lip. He owned clothing shops in 7 Dials and Petticoat Lane, and loved to drink his profits, especially on a Friday night. When he drank, he got careless. Tiki's fingers itched in anticipation. It was hardly a challenge for someone of her skills, but she had grown to dislike her swaggering and the way he bullied the barmaids. It would be a pleasure to lighten his pockets. Had she missed her chance? Last call. The bartender's voice cut across the noise of the room. Drink up, fellers. Pub's closing. The World's End had a packed house tonight. The wooden plank floor of the pub was slick with spilled ale. The rich, yeasty smell of beer hung thick in the air. A row of sailors sat shoulder to shoulder along the wooden bar, hunched over their drinks. Big mirrors lined the walls, etched with the names of the ales or whiskeys, reflecting the bright lights in the room, as well as the cloud of tobacco smoke. Barmaids and pursuers. I don't know how I read that wrong, but I can't say this on YouTube, so barmaids and Lady of the Nights, their skirts practically tucked up, in their waistbands, worked their way through the crowd, smiling and joking with the customers. The tinkling notes of the piano were a backdrop to the canopy of accents that clashed above it all. Tiki's eyes stopped on the silhouette of a tall man with a large bulbous nose. There he was. Okay, I can see the comments going off. Why am I not in school? Because I dropped out. I'm working on getting my GED, so. I can hear my dog, so I'm gonna let her in. Give me a second. Huh, baby? There's Mama's spot. Good girl. Can you move your tail? No. Scoot your little tail. Huh, baby girl. Good luck with getting my GED. Yeah, I would have already gotten it already, but my dad couldn't figure out how to sign off on it online. Girly Pops, you can't knock at the door and then instantly won't back out. Oh, you hear a dog. That's what this is. You can't play with that puppy. Crap, this place is going. Alright. Go play. Press. I think my dad's cat is still in here, but I'm not entirely sure, and I don't want to go underneath the bed to find out. A lot of the people here need to get their brakes fixed. $1970s, it's actually 1870s. Close, but still. And I educate myself, honestly, because half the shit they teach you in school, you don't need. They don't teach you the things that you actively use. Plus, they say you won't ever have a calculator constantly. Then what the fuck are phones? They're calculators. I just let her out. She wants back in. Excuse me. Do you just want to hang out with Mama? Is that what this is? Yeah. Ow. kind of want to tape this jacket to the book, but I don't know how my dad would react to that because this is his book. So I'm tired of it sliding, so we're just gonna take this off for now. A meaty looking fellow with shoulders like a bull underneath his worn down jacket. Max Georgia looked in a fine form tonight. You're gonna fall off the bed if you keep doing that. Red-faced, he was belting out a ranchy tune as he waved his mug of ale in time to the song. Ricker followed Tiki's gaze. No, not Mac Georgia. Tiki let out an impatient breath. Why the bloody hell not? I've been watching him half the night. She started to slide out of her chair, but Ricker's hand clamped down on her wrist, pinning her to the table. He's too drunk, he warned. If he catches you, there'll be no mercy. Take your hand off me, she gritted through clenched teeth. Tiki yanked away and shot out of her chair. Fiona might chatter on about how handsome Ricker was with his tall, rugged build and elusive air, but Tiki found him insufferable. The corners of Ricker's mouth quirked, his smoky eyes dancing. Just like a kitten pretending to be a lion, he said, except I don't think your claws are sharp enough to hurt any one little kitten. Tiki reacted without thinking. She jabbed her fingers into his chest. Listen to me, Ricker, I'm not your kitten or anybody else's. I'll do what I please, and I'll thank you to leave me the hell alone. Fast as a cat, he grabbed her arm. A look Tiki couldn't decipher crossed his face. What's this? He asked, holding up her wrist. That's outside, baby. They're not inside. Hey, get out of the window. Millie! No. Whoa. The fuck happened? What are we reading? It's called Fairy Light, except it's spelled Fairy Light, which fae are still fairies. So they're just a different form of fairies. And why is this person being censored so much? You know what? I don't want to know. I don't think I want to know. That's outside, babes. Yeah, that's outside. Ooh. Cool, we're almost to chapter 2. We'll get to chapter 2 and then I'll end the live. The talking's outside. Yes, come here. That's outside, babes. Thank you. Yeah, I do get that a lot. Okay, if baby, you can't play with everyone. Yeah, that is odd, but I get that a lot, so I'm kind of used to it. But there is one person that I will accept doing that, but they're currently in school, so a lot of you say that some of my mods are weird. I'm not actively looking in the chat, so I guess I don't see it, but please explain. No, but stop. Never mind. Ricker's grip was too tight. Her fingers began to tingle. Tiki winced, swallowing a gasp. You went outside? Okay, but you're not coming back in. I'm not doing this constant back and forth, babes. Go play. Sorry, there's fuzz in your face. Oh my god. I don't have school time because I'm not in school, and you guys keep mentioning my mother like she's the best person in the world. No, she's a demon from hell. Yeah, so, please don't mention her, because I have a lot to say about her. And normally, when someone mentions my mother, I go on a rant. And I know for a fact that she still watches my videos, so if she watches this, fuck you. And I'm not using a phone. You guys, like, I'm filming on my phone. Hi. I'm not gonna out my mother for legal reasons, but screw who? My mom. Yeah. I might make a video explaining all of this later, because some of you guys don't understand why I hate her so much. You like my hair? Thank you. Anyway, let's get to chapter 2. I might go live a third time after the ASMR video, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll see what happens. Ricker, stop it. You're hurting me. His grip loosened, but he didn't let go. Tiki, where did you get this mark? Ricker's strange reaction made Tiki glance down at her arm, where her birthmark was exposed. Delicate lines twisted and turned like a tangle of vines dark against her pale skin. Ricker's gaze was in. I don't know how to pronounce that. Incredulous, searching as if trying to see into her very thoughts. She couldn't help but notice how long his dark lashes were, framing his smoky eyes. A strange nervousness started to flutter in the pit of her stomach. When Mac Jordan drunken bellow for more ale cut through the noise in the pub and broke the spell. I said, let go. With a great surge, Tiki jerked her arm back, sending Ricker's mug of ailed directly into the face of a nearby sailor. The stunned man shook his head, his burly eyes searching the crowd for the culprit. Tiki turned just in time to see the sailor drop his head on a plow and plow his shoulders into an innocent chimney sweep still covered in coal dust. The chimney sweep went flying backwards into the crowd. Mayhem broke loose as the sailors and tradesmen shoved back with fists and feet. Tiki stepped away from the table and slid sideways through the crowd, head down till the bill of her cap shadowed her face. Usually she wouldn't take such a risk on her last pick of the night, but she wanted to prove Ricker wrong. Tiki, wait, Ricker called after her. Tiki glanced back, but Ricker was stuck in the crowd. Unable to stop her, she smiled to herself in satisfaction. She could handle Mac Georger plus a few more coins to line her pockets would certainly warm the long, cold ride home to the abandoned clockmaker's shop adjoining Charing Cross. Tiki took a deep breath as she neared her mark, dodging the arms and legs swinging wildly around her. Mac Georger was engrossed in the brawl, red-faced and hollering encouragement in a hoarse roar. His face shone with excitement, a large bead of sweat hanging from the tip of a nose that had seen more than a few fights. She slithered close and slipped her hand into his pocket. Just as she had hoped, Mac Georger was carrying a lot of money. She pinched several coins together and started to pull her hand free. The big man jerked around and squinted his red-rimmed eyes in her direction. "What you be about, boy?" he growled. "Nothing, governor," Tiki stammered. She tried to back away, but was hemmed in by the mass of bodies. "What you got in your hand?" He snatched for her with a big, meaty paw. "Show me." Tiki slapped her hands together to mask the sound of the coins dropping and held her palms up, wiggling her fingers to distract him as the coins slid down her sleeve. "Nothing, sir, I swear." There was another surge in the crowd. Damn it, I missed. There's a bug and it's gonna annoy me. Okay, where was I? The large man dressed like a coal porter collided with Mac Georger. The man's black hat flew off as Mac Georger's glass of ale hit the wooden floor with a resounding crash. This was trouble. Mac Georger roared in rage. Tiki swung her right elbow back as hard as she could, hitting a soft stomach. I'm not gonna say the actual word because I hate that word. I hate it. Oof, a voice gasped as her elbows made contact. What the bloody hell? The man behind her stepped back, opening a small space in the crowd. In a blink, Tiki darted through the gap. "Come back here, you little thief," Mac Georger yelled. Tiki cut her way through the crowd. I can't speak. Oh my god. Tiki cut her way through the crowd. She reached the heavy plank entry door and yanked it open just enough to slip out into the chill winter air. Her breath came in short gasps, her chest heaving with exertion. Where could she hide? She only had a moment before MacGeorgia would catch her. In the distance, the brisk clip-clop of a lone carriage working its way on the cobblestone lane echoed in... I'm trying to read too fast, I'm sorry. Echoed in the cool night air blast. It was so late that there were few cabs about, and this coach was headed in the wrong direction. She took a step toward the street, peering right and left, looking for another... Sorry. Looking for any other means of escape. Behind her, the pub door creaked open. "Where is he?" a thick voice cried. Tiki's breath caught in her throat. It was MacGeorgia. She pushed away from the building and ran. The carriage was just turning the corner onto the lane. "You there?" MacGeorgia cried. "Stop." Tiki darted out of the shadows and raced toward the back of the carriage. With a burst of speed, she played... Hang on. I need water. Okay. With a burst of speed, she placed a hand on one of the rear struts and jumped lightly onto the boot where the luggage was usually stored. Wedging herself into the corner of the little shelf situated behind the wheel box, she watched as MacGeorgia lumbered down the cobblestone lane, his head swiveling back and forth in confusion. I am so sorry for all the yawning. "Where'd he go?" he bellowed behind him. Just exiting the pub, Tiki recognized Ricker's tall silhouette before the carriage creaked around the corner and the pub disappeared from view. "And that's how you pick MacGeorgia's pocket," she whispered. "Oh." Tiki repositioned herself on the small shelf with a tired sigh settling in for the ride back to Charing Cross. She fingered a solid weight in the solid weight of the coins as she had stashed in her pockets, and pressed her lips together in a small, satisfied smile. There would be enough to pay the muffin man and buy a chunk of cheddar big enough for all of them. Tiki thought of how excited the others would be. Food had been scarce lately. Shamus and Fiona had been giving part of their portions to the younger ones, Toots and Clara, and even with that, 4-year-old Clara was painfully thin. Tiki tried not to think of the persistent cough that had been raking the child lately. Maybe she could find some milk for Clara and soak her bread in it as well. Wrapping her arms tight around her knees to ward off the chill, Tiki eyed the black swirls on her wrists and wondered again about Ricker's strange reaction to her mark. She usually made an effort to keep her wrist covered, not wanting to draw attention to the odd birthmark. When she was younger, her mom had teased her and told her she'd been marked by fairies. Her mother whispered words. Her mother's whispered words came back to her now. They're around us. Pay attention and you'll see them. A pang of longing twisted inside the memory of her mom. She pushed the painful thoughts away. She had more important things to think about now, like finding enough food to fill their stomachs each day. Tiki leaned her head back and closed her eyes, listening to the staccato rhythm of the horse's hoofs echoing in the night. And we're at chapter 2, so that's the end of live today. But I will respond to some of your comments. Yeah, definitely not. But there are a few of you that have a problem with one of the mods that is currently in chat. You guys don't seem to have a problem with ants, which is also a mod, but you seem to have a problem with light. I don't know why, honestly. I haven't noticed anything, but if you have, please text me on Discord and tell me, because I want to know why you all think this one person is weird. But that's gonna do it for today's live. I'll be live later in a couple of hours tonight for the ASMR that a lot of you guys have been asking for. But for now, that's it. After the ASMR, I might go live again to read more of Fairy Ring. I'm not entirely sure, but until that, good night and good afternoon. I'll see you guys in a couple of hours. Stay safe.